All right, these are some of my first annotations. So I have mostly this page just touching on. I thought it was interesting how the author or the main character, Junior, talks about himself and his features. Just really exempling like a deep dislike for himself. And I think that goes on for the first few pages. That's mostly what I was referring to. And then this was him talking about his parents and kind of some negative attributes about them, but also still displaying a deep love and respect for them. And then right here, I thought it was interesting, basically just how much doubt there was on the reservation and just a belief that they don't get the same things that other people are awarded. This is kind of where Rowdy was introduced, and it was obvious that Junior had a deep admiration for him. I think these are some more unimportant ones. And then this was when Mr. P was telling him about his sister's aspirations that Junior had no idea about, which I thought was interesting because she still lived at home as an adult. I figured they would be a lot closer. That was just kind of me documenting that. And this was the big conversation with Junior and Mr. P, where I think this was the first time it was like really serious that Junior needed to leave the reservation. I think he really got the point when Mr. P was saying that basically the reservation would kill him, whether he meant that figuratively or metaphorically as far as his aspirations. I'm not sure. And this was just kind of that list of rules on the reservation where it really just showed me how different the culture and just social exchanges were on the reservation compared to normal outside areas, and what an adjustment it was for Junior. My next big one. This was the email that Junior's sister sent to him. I thought it probably brought him some peace that someone in his family seemed happy. And then this is just another kind of sad story that Junior shares about his parents, but he still is able to really appreciate the little things that they gave him and just the respect he has for them, even though I don't necessarily think they always deserved it. And then this was a story about one of their Christmases where Junior just talked so casually about such a devastating event. His parents didn't have enough money for presents, so his dad just took the money that they had and left and got drunk. And then on the next page, Junior was still showing gratitude for the very little things that they had and the time that they spent together. It just shows his character. And then I thought this was a really important part as well. The author sharing the last words of Junior's grandmother, just being about forgiveness. I think that spoke a lot for the theme of the story, and just kind of how Junior showed forgiveness to his parents for the life he had, forgiveness to society for the then this was about the grandmother's funeral. I thought the fact that they were able to laugh and understand each other and not be offended showed how close-knit and comfortable they all were with each other. I thought that was kind of a positive of the way they grew up, going through so many tragic things. You really grow close to people. This was a story about the part where Bobby had murdered Eugene, and I just thought it was really crazy that someone could be so drunk that they don't remember a murder. And that kind of just shows how many people were drinking on the reservation, like Junior was saying. Kind of just puts it into perspective. There's a lot of times in the story where I think Junior will compare Indians or other people on the res, or even himself, to things that are not necessarily human, kind of like creature-like. And I think it goes to show how little he thinks of himself and his fellow people, and how interesting that is. This was when Reardon was playing the res in basketball, and I think it was probably the first time Junior ever stood up to Rowdy. I think that was a big moment. And this whole page was the game where they won, where it really felt like a turning point, and Junior was kind of against his own people in a way, but he made his parents really proud. Just the energy in the room. This was like a big shift in the book. And the fact that Junior was still able to feel sympathy and understand the deepness of the situation, about how, okay, so we had this game, they won, but there was still people on the reservation going home without like their just general survival needs being met. There was still a bigger issue than basketball. This is when he found out his sister died. It was interesting, his relationship with his dad. He was so worried about his dad after finding out about his sister, when he was never necessarily very, very good to him. This was him promising his mom he would never drink. I thought that was kind of where the overall lesson of the book is really amplified. Just Junior really standing out and making a difference, and not being like all the other people he grew up around, and making an active effort to be better than his sister, better than everyone else on the reservation, by making different choices. I think that was the last big one for me.